Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the COASTER-net Top 3. We've got 3 news stories tonight that you might have missed this week, and we're going to start off with the first test runs of Twisted Timbers down at Kings Dominion. Now, Water Parker, I think it's safe to say that a lot of people are super excited about Twisted Timbers finally opening up, and we finally got to see the first video posted by Kings Dominion that showed the trains, those beautiful new RMC trains, going through that first wing-over drop, or what I call the wing-over drop. I don't know what they call it. But what are your thoughts on Twisted Timbers and what to expect out of Kings Dominion this year?
Yeah, so Andy, when I first saw the POVs that they're putting out, it instantly reminded me of Storm Chaser at Kentucky Kingdom.
Yeah.
It's very similar, and the ride style.
Well, the beginning is very similar.
The beginning is very similar. However, I think this is going to be really interesting for the Kings Dominion crowd because it's something new, something different that's not really in the region. If you consider Virginia as its own region, it's not really that, plus, there's not a lot of RMCs. However, I think it's going to be pretty cool to see what they do with the Twisted Timbers concept. I understand they're going in a totally different direction than what they did with Mystic Timbers. So I'm excited to see what they do. I think it's going to be pretty nice to see it in March. I know a lot of our people here at COASTER.net, and as well a lot of people who I know, are going to go check it out when they open up in 2018.
Well, we've seen that they also put up the new huge sign on the top of the old hurler station that I know a lot of people were like, well, that hurler station is so big, just concrete. How do you modernize that? And I think putting that huge sign on the top of it really gives it a nice feel, where before it was just a concrete box, after they removed all the theming from it, from the, the Wayne's World stuff. Now you have this nice sign, kind of factory looking a little bit. So you wonder if they're going to put some storyline behind it, if that queue line is going to be themed out. And, Mystic Timbers is a little themed out with little, nuances here and there, obviously very haunt themed. I don't think we're going to get that at all here. But that wing over drop looks really outstanding. The rest of the ride, like you mentioned, reminiscent of the beginning's reminiscent of Storm Chaser, but whereas Twisted Timbers kind of deviates from that path, is they try and do an up and down airtime. Storm Chaser kind of tries to throw you back and forth and give you different experiences from how the track is very twisted. This one, even though it's called Twisted, is very up and down, very lots of airtime hills, especially towards the end. So it's going to be very interesting to see how this one rides. So let's move on to our next story that you might have missed this week, and that is the announcement of Tiki-Waka, a brand new Gerstlauer bobsled coaster. Now, I don't think bobsled in the traditional sense. This is more of like a family coaster with Wild Mouse type cars, but not on a Wild Mouse like track. So this is a Gerstlauer that will be opening up in 2018, themed out to these tiki figures. It looks like a great family coaster at Walibi, Belgium. So what were some of your thoughts when you first saw this?
Well, coming off of the announcements that we got a few weeks ago about the Robin Hood RMC treatment, I thought this was a really great move for Walibi, Belgium, especially considering the fact that, Walibi has always designed their parks as something to where it's a family experience. And I think that this brings a different tone, a different taste to the European market, especially taking more tiki, Polynesian style. I think it's going to be really fun for the family. And I'm actually kind of surprised, Andy. There's not a lot of discussion about this coaster. And it actually looks not that bad. It looks very reminiscent of what you were talking before of the new Fire Chaser Express down at Dollywood. So I think it's going to be pretty cool.
And it's funny because when the story this week came out, that was the first time I actually heard of this coaster. So I'm pretty good with trying to follow as much international stuff as I can. So like you said, it looks to be a real fun ride, a real themed out ride. Even some of the brake runs are themed out to this Hawaiian tiki idea. And our last story here today is also from across the pond, where we learned that Icon at Blackpool Pleasure Beach had its final piece installed this week. Icon, that Mac launch coaster that looks completely crazy, out of this world. Especially the second half of it looks like it's really going to have some nice speed to it. What were some of your thoughts on Icon, when you saw that?
I've been hearing a lot of people talk about Icon and Blackpool Pleasure Beach over the past few months. We just had Danny go out. A lot of people have been talking, it's a great park. There's a lot of cool stuff. But Icon really looks like it breaks out of the box. More explicitly, it's a very compact coaster. However, it's very twisted, very intense. I think it's definitely going to be a cool coaster to check out in 2018. I'm sure that the European riders are really excited. But, overall, Andy, I think this just goes to show that the European market, it's still improving. It's still, there's a lot of stuff to do. There's a lot of innovation to go on. So I'm very excited to see what our European listeners have to go and, think, whether they like it or hate it.
To be honest with you, with Icon, this is really the first modern roller coaster that Blackpool is getting. And I think that might have been lost in some of our discussions, that we had with the most anticipated stuff. That when you look at Blackpool Pleasure Beach overall, their signature ride is probably the big one, and that was built in '94. And the only other newer ride than the big one was Infusion, which is an SLC that was built in 2007 that nobody really cares about because it's an SLC. So really, this park has not had a modern day coaster for a very, very long time. Once again, probably not since a lot of people who have been watching have been alive. So I think Icon, this is really going to put Blackpool. I can't say it's not going to put it on the map. It's already on the map. But this is really going to pull Blackpool into the modern era. And I know a lot of people are upset with that because even though Icon's going in a completely different location, a lot of people have been talking about the closure of the Wild Mouse down there, and not a whole lot of people are happy about that. But sometimes with innovation, with moving into the future, sometimes things from the past do get lost. And it's unfortunate that the Wild Mouse is one of the things that went to the chopping block. But I think a whole lot of people going to Blackpool next year are going to be really thrilled by Icon, and really fall in love with that park again.
Yeah, and most definitely, for those listeners who are nostalgic, just remember, a coaster gets more merit when it's gone. I remember countless days riding coasters that are long gone now. And it's grown on me more than I would have riding it just yesterday. So definitely, I think this is a great switch. You lose the classic, but you gain a very great new attraction.
Yeah, I think Icon's going to be really outstanding. And lucky for those people at Blackpool to get a ride of that caliber. So as always, thank you for joining us here at COASTER.net. As always, I'm Andrew Barczyk from Chicago, Illinois.
And I'm the water parker from Cincinnati, Ohio.
Right on, Ride Warriors.
Stay tropical.